This is a puzzle design I came up with January or February this year, 2012. I call it the cluster minus. It looks a lot like a cluster buster from outside shape, 6 rhombic dodecahedron blocks all assembled in a pile. I call this the cluster minus because I removed 3 tetrahedron blocks from each of the dimple areas of a normal cluster buster. And the internal dissection is really quite different than most of the cluster buster puzzles in the Stewart-Coffin family. It's what Stewart would probably refer to as a novelty. All 6 pieces are the same and neither half requires coordinate motion. The puzzle doesn't require coordinate motion as a whole. There's only one sliding axis, but the interlock isn't real strong on this one. So I think it's kind of a cool shape, worth mentioning anyway. I'm not sure that I'll make too many of them just because I think it's kind of a novelty. But there's the one sliding axis, and you can see the 2 halves. This one goes clockwise, and the other goes around counterclockwise, similar to many of the polyhedral shapes. Polyhedral puzzles, I should say. And here you can see the 6 pieces. For quite some time I've been using these 7-sided blocks to set up my puzzle jig that I use to cut these blocks with. This is basically a center block with 1 tetrahedron unit removed from this side. Normally, to check the length of a center block, most of the documents that Stewart-Coffin has written shows that you visually inspect the pyramid at the center of the C block. But visual inspection is kind of rough, can't hold very close tolerances by simple visual inspection. So I like to be able to measure these with the calipers. And if I remove 1 tetrahedron unit from one end, I find that I can measure straight across these 2 parallel surfaces. And that distance should be the same size as your square stick. So I've been using these for a couple of years now to make sure my jig is set correctly, but I just kind of toss them aside after I'm done. And every time I toss one aside, I think these must be good for something. Eventually I'd like to come up with a design that uses them. And so that's what I set out to do with the cluster minus. You can see the 7-sided block on each end. And then on this side we have 2 rhombic pyramids glued to the 7-sided block. Pretty simple pieces, and like I said, no coordinate motion or anything, but it is an interesting assembled shape. So there's the cluster minus. Thanks for watching.